How many companies can say their customers are willing to permanently tattoo their logo onto their skin? It's an extreme act of loyalty. One that goes far beyond repeat purchases or positive reviews. It's a statement of identity. An emblem of belonging. For most brands, this is an unattainable fantasy. For Harley-Davidson, it's just another Tuesday. Thousands of people have willingly, even proudly, inked the company's bar and shield logo onto their bodies. They don't just buy the product. They live the brand. They wear its clothes, attend its events, and find community with others who share the same passion. So, how did a manufacturer of motorcycles achieve a level of devotion that most religions would envy? How did Harley-Davidson transform a metal machine into a cultural identity? That's the question we're answering today. To understand Harley's success, you must first understand its near-death experience. By the late 1970s, the company was on the brink of collapse. In 1969, Harley-Davidson was sold to a conglomerate called American Machine and Foundry, or AMF. AMF was known for making everything from bowling equipment to tennis rackets. They saw Harley as just another product line to be optimized. Their strategy was simple: cut costs and increase production. This led to a catastrophic decline in quality. The bikes were unreliable, leaked oil, and were plagued with mechanical issues. The brand's reputation plummeted. Loyal customers began referring to the bikes by nicknames like Harley-Davidson. Meanwhile, Japanese manufacturers like Honda, Kawasaki, and Yamaha were entering the American market. Their bikes were cheaper, faster, and far more reliable. They offered superior technology and performance for a fraction of the price. Harley-Davidson, with its aging designs and poor quality control, simply couldn't compete on a rational level. Sales cratered. By 1981, the company was bleeding money and on the verge of bankruptcy. It seemed the iconic American brand was destined for the scrap heap of history. In a last-ditch effort, a group of 13 Harley-Davidson executives, led by Vaughn Beals, negotiated a leveraged buyout from AMF for $80 million. They had bought their company back. But they had also inherited a mountain of debt and a brand in tatters. They knew that building a better motorcycle was only part of the solution. They couldn't out-engineer or outprice the Japanese competition. They had to compete on a different battlefield entirely. They had to sell something more than just a bike. The new owners recognized a crucial asset that didn't appear on any balance sheet: the fierce, almost tribal, loyalty of their core customer base. Even during the worst years of AMF ownership, a dedicated group of riders remained faithful. They were drawn to the brand's heritage, its American roots, and the rebellious image associated with it. They formed their own informal clubs and gatherings. There was already a community. It just wasn't organized. The leadership team saw an opportunity. What if they could harness this organic passion? What if they could build a formal structure around it, sponsored and managed by the company itself? In 1983, they launched a masterstroke of marketing, the Harley Owners Group, or H.O.G. This was not a simple fan club. It was a meticulously designed ecosystem created to foster a deep, lasting connection between the customer and the brand. For a small annual fee, owners received a patch, a pin, and a subscription to a members-only magazine. But the real value was access. H.O.G. was built on a framework of local chapters, sponsored by dealerships. These chapters organized rides, social events, and charity fundraisers. Suddenly, being a Harley owner meant having an instant social calendar and a built-in network of friends. It provided a sense of belonging and community that a solo rider could never experience. The company also organized massive national and international rallies. These events became legendary, drawing tens of thousands of members for days of riding, entertainment, and camaraderie. They weren't just marketing events, they were pilgrimages for the faithful. The strategy was brilliant. It transformed the act of buying a motorcycle from a simple transaction into an initiation. You weren't just a customer, you were a member. You belonged to something bigger than yourself. H.O.G. became the glue that held the brand's identity together, turning solitary riders into a unified, global tribe. With the H.O.G community as its foundation, Harley-Davidson began to deliberately cultivate its brand image. They understood they weren't selling transportation. They were selling an idea. That idea was freedom, rebellion, individuality. It was the spirit of the open road and the promise of escaping the mundane 9-to-5. This image had deep roots in American culture, famously portrayed by actors like Marlon Brando and Peter Fonda. Harley had a complicated relationship with this outlaw persona. While they never officially endorsed illegal activity, they skillfully leaned into the tough, nonconformist aesthetic. They didn't sell a dangerous lifestyle, but they did sell the look and feel of one. This is where their merchandising empire was born. Harley-Davidson realized that people wanted to buy into the identity even if they couldn't afford the $20,000 motorcycle. The company began licensing its logo for a vast array of products: leather jackets, boots, t-shirts, and accessories. General merchandise became a massive revenue stream. In many years, it was more profitable than selling motorcycle parts. The leather jacket became as iconic as the bike itself. It was a symbol, a piece of the identity that was accessible to a much broader audience. People were buying the uniform before they ever joined the army. By selling the lifestyle separately from the core product, Harley-Davidson embedded itself deep within the culture. The brand became a canvas onto which people could project their own desires for freedom and self-expression. You didn't need to own the bike to feel like a part of the legend. You just needed to buy a piece of it. The final layer of Harley's strategy appeals to a more primal sense: sound. Anyone who has ever been near a Harley-Davidson motorcycle knows its unique, rumbling idle. The sound is often described as potato potato potato. This distinctive rhythm is a result of its V-twin engine design, where both pistons fire at an uneven interval. This sound wasn't just a mechanical byproduct, it was an auditory signature. It was instantly recognizable and deeply evocative. It was the sound of power, of rebellion, of the brand itself. Other motorcycles might be faster or quieter, but they didn't sound like a Harley. The company understood the power of this sensory branding. The sound was so integral to the Harley experience that in 1994, they filed an application to trademark it. They argued that the potato-potato exhaust note was a key identifier of their brand, just like a visual logo. The legal battle was complex, and after 6 years of challenges from competitors, Harley-Davidson eventually dropped the application. But the attempt itself revealed the core of their strategy. They knew that their brand wasn't just built on visual logos or community events, but on a complete sensory experience. The look of the chrome, the feel of the leather, and, most importantly, the sound of the engine all worked together to reinforce the central identity. The sound was a rallying cry. When a group of Harleys rode by, you didn't just see them. You heard them. You felt them. It was a declaration of presence, a powerful signal that the tribe was on the move. And that is the secret to Harley-Davidson's incredible brand loyalty. They realized their business was not about selling motorcycles. It was about selling belonging. The motorcycle is simply the price of admission. It's the expensive ticket that gets you into an exclusive club. The real product is the community. It's the local H.O.G chapter. It's the weekend rides with new friends. It's the shared identity, the wave to another rider on the highway. It's the feeling of being part of a tribe that shares your values of freedom and individuality. The Japanese manufacturers could build a faster, cheaper, more reliable bike. But they couldn't build the community. They couldn't replicate the 100 years of heritage. They couldn't manufacture the feeling of being a rebel, an outlaw, an individual. Harley-Davidson built a fortress around its brand. Not with patents or technology, but with people. They created a community moat so deep and wide that competitors simply couldn't cross it. This is why someone gets a Harley-Davidson logo tattooed on their arm. They aren't celebrating a machine. They are celebrating what that machine represents: their identity, their freedom, and their tribe. If that insight just clicked for you, take a second to hit the like button and subscribe. It helps us know we're on the right track. The Harley-Davidson story is a masterclass in brand building. It teaches us a profound business principle: a product can be copied, but a culture cannot. When you sell a product, you have a customer for a day. When you sell an identity, you have an evangelist for life. This strategy turns passive customers into active participants. They become the brand's most powerful marketing tool, spreading its message organically through their passion and dedication. In a world of fleeting trends and endless choices, building a genuine community is the ultimate competitive advantage. It's how you build a brand that doesn't just last, but becomes a legend. If you learn something new, hit the like button and subscribe for more strategy breakdowns. And let us know in the comments, what company's strategy should we unlock next?